Good evening, everyone. My name is John Guy. I live at 110 South Congress Street here in the borough. I'd like to say a few words about the article I read in the Advance regarding the Stocking Works 2 development and the plan now to add approximately 300 new residences in that 9-acre area. As you may remember, I was cautiously supportive of the original plan that Alan Smith had presented, I guess it's almost 2 years ago. And I did have some great concerns over the effect of adding such density and how that would affect local traffic in particular, being on the traffic committee near and dear to my heart, as you know. Adding new office workers in the heart of our town, I think would have been a net positive for us. If you think about the shops and the people walking around and needing lunch and needing to spend a few of their hard-earned dollars during the middle of the day is actually a net positive. And the demands on the services of the borough are actually pretty modest if you think about, a typical office structure. We don't hear about a lot of things going on at the Stocking Works property now, for example. It's a peaceful spot. Now I hear the jobs are gone and they're going to be replaced by about 300 new homes, which really knocked me off my chair. I haven't been here for a while because I didn't feel any need to come over here, but this thing I think is too important to leave be. Given that the borough currently has about 930 separate parcels, this represents a potential instant growth of over 30%. Imagine the drain on borough services and the potential result on our town's ability to manage and digest such growth. Imagine the traffic that will be crammed into an already overloaded section of town. Unless there's another bridge that's built across the creek, I can't see this possibly working traffic-wise. I think these images are far more worrying than any possible positives that might be offered from the promised creek walk or this parking garage and the potential for having parking that apparently now might be taken up by a lot of the residents that are going to have one or two cars at their beck and call. I urge all residents and other concerned area citizens to raise your voices with me and demand that this plan be rethought. Even 100 new homes would be a challenge for that area and would certainly change the character of the area. And it's very much like what we fought against with the Promenade or the old Acme site. I guess that's almost 2 years ago too. Let's send this back to the developer and let him come up with new alternatives. Thank you.
Good evening. Paul Salvatore, 148 North Elm, Newtown Borough. Just to elaborate a little bit on that Easter egg hunt, Mayor, it is the 16th. It goes off exactly at 9. It's kids and adults. We're the only one in the area that has adults. And it's sponsored by the Newtown Business and Professional Association. And all the prizes, and as of now, there's about 450 prizes have been donated by local businesses. And that speaks well of our community. I also would like to thank the board for allowing the car show, which is also sponsored by the Newtown Business and Professional Association, not to have to pay the $250 fee. I appreciated that last week. I think Bob made the motion and Gerard seconded it and Perry went along. I don't think, Mr. Burke, you were here for that. You mentioned the fee earlier, and I think what you're going to find is, if I'm not mistaken, and if my history serves me right, Newtown Township several years ago tried to put in a use and occupancy, and it was thought they could charge $300 and turn a profit off that fee. Well, I think there's a caveat in the state code that says you can't make a profit. You can only charge a fee for services rendered. So you may have to rethink that $250. And to note that Newtown Township only charges $30. I thought it was $35, but it's $30. And you may want to look at theirs, and I'll leave this for you, their application. If you're going to revisit this, you may want to change it. There's a lot more in here than there is in ours as far as indemnifying the borough. It sets limits as far as how much the township requires Macarius insurance. And these are things we really should be looking at if we're going to have these events. I believe they have $1 million minimum with a $2 million umbrella, and they're added on as additional insured, which we should be. So these are things maybe we want to look at and compare. If somebody's doing something, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can just we can just borrow it. So why don't we take a look at their application form? All right, and I'll turn this over to you. Thank you.
New Sneaks.
New Sneaks. Schmidt.
Lincoln Avenue. I was wondering if we could get any information this evening on the painting of the pedestrian walkway lines on State and Washington. They've been not painted for going on about a year now. And I wonder what the status on those lines are.
I could say stay until later, but I'll address it now. You're correct, and in fact, some of the intersections that we did as crosswalks, which you're referring to, are ones we did only a year ago. In fact, even less. And what we found was there was a problem with the application of the paint. We're not sure if it was the batch or the manner in which it was put down, but
That's what happens on State and Center. They
Correct.
dissipated rather quickly.
they did. So what's going on is with the improved weather for the spring, Scott's all-season landscaping that does our public works contract work is going to be redoing all those intersections, I'm happy to say. And even better, it's going to be done free of charge. The manufacturer is donating the paint, and Scott Dengler has agreed to do that gratis because it did not adhere and it's gone bad in less than a year. So all those going to be redone, weather permitting, in the next couple of weeks.
Very good.
So come back if they're not, but that's the plan.
Thank you.
Should also mention that the intersection at Washington and State has not been painted because the ramps have to be reinstalled, and that should be happening very soon, too. We're waiting for all the PennDOT to approve the final redesign of the ramps and the relocation of them. So those markings will go in once those ramps are correctly placed. Anyone else wish to be heard?